As you may be able to tell from the lack of Marvel Rivals videos, I haven't played Rivals in weeks. In fact, the last time I played Rivals was when I recorded the Support Strike video. Whilst, yes, 2 weeks doesn't seem like a long break, it is for someone who used to play the game basically daily. Even if it was only for a couple of hours, I'd still hop on day after day to grind comp last season. Now, the question is, what caused this? What made me step away from Marvel Rivals? Was it the competition stepping up their A-game, or was it something else? Well, I can tell you that it wasn't something else, but some things else. The things that put me off the game weren't anything outside of the game, no. The things were purely internal, but it's a mix of different things. I have a few problems with Marvel Rivals, so let's go over them. First off, let's talk about the community, because good lord, they make the Overwatch community look like saints. Before any of you comment, "Oh, but Aiden, the Marvel Rivals community is made up of old Overwatch players." I know, but it doesn't excuse them for being absolute degenerates, and no, I'm not just talking about the Gooners. I know it's not all of you guys, it's just the loud minority that has got to go out of their way to say the most heinous, downright despicable things about not just the characters in the game, but the players of the game too. Flaming has become way too common in competitive games in general, but it feels like I'm more likely to get hate crimed on Marvel Rivals than any other game at the minute, which is crazy to think about considering Disney owns Marvel and therefore has to pander to everybody, even the Sentinelese on North Sentinel Island. This isn't me tooting my own horn and saying I have a better moral compass than John Marvel Rival over here, you know, I'm just as flawed as anyone else, but it gets to a point where sometimes you witness something and just think, who hurt this guy? Why are they saying such stupid things? The community is in such shambles that it's put me off of the game because you're genuinely not allowed to have a take that doesn't agree with the biggest voices surrounding the game. If you're not agreeing with other streamers and following the herd, crawling on your hands and knees, licking the boots off the Rivals devs, then you're seen as nothing but a hater and you're basically shunned for having an opposing opinion. It's stupid and it reminds me of high school. Get a grip. Think for yourself. Don't let the woke Twitter mob speak for you. Another thing I want to complain about is something that I know a lot of you are going to agree with, and that's the fact that the game uses EOMM instead of SBMM, which is just outright worse in my own personal opinion. If you don't know what those alien-sounding acronyms mean, EOMM stands for Engagement Optimized Matchmaking, which means that the game prioritizes player engagement and retention over strict skill-based matchmaking. Instead of just matching players of similar skill levels, EOMM aims to create matches that are more likely to keep players playing for longer periods, even if it means manipulating the perceived fairness of the game. SBMM stands for skill-based matchmaking, which takes a player's general stats and matches them with another player that has similar stats. If someone's ranked in Diamond, then they'll generally play with people that have the same kind of skill level as a Diamond player. There's been a debate about which one is fundamentally better for as long as both systems have been around, but generally SBMM has been favoured as the more fair one, because all EOMM really does is look at how long you've played the game for and pair you with players that have played the game for the same amount of time as you. The problem is that if, for example, you have two players that both have a 4-hour gaming session, one player might not necessarily be as good as the other because they're playing in a lower elo. But there's a chance that these players could run into one another because they share 4 hours of playtime. It's a flawed system that just needs to be completely revamped because it makes the game grueling and feel more like a chore than something I can play to decompress and play with the homies. Quick play should not feel like I'm trying to draw blood from a stone. That's comp. The final thing I want to complain about is the content, or lack thereof, in Marvel Rivals. I know the game is still, very much in early days, only being in its second official season, but it feels like we have barely anything to play, and the devs are prioritizing shitting out skins so they can make as much money as possible. I get it, the game needs to make money to survive, but they need to actually update the game and improve it to keep people playing. When's the last time we had an actually good balance patch? When was the last time the team added something of substance other than a new skin or a new cosmetic pass? I don't think I heard anything about the Ultron Teamfight Tactics game mode other than it came out. Genuinely no one played it for more than 2 or so matches. Hell, I never even played it. I genuinely couldn't give less of a fuck. But that just about does it for this video. If you were wondering if I'll ever come back to Rivals, the answer is yes, because I want to see what they add and if the game improves on the current problems. I want there to be competition for Blizzard because that's how innovation thrives, through competition. Without Rivals, Overwatch would have probably never added things like third person to Stadium or even pulled their fingers out of their asses in the first place. NetEase have to do something big to get back to where they were at the start of the year, otherwise more players are going to start feeling like me and ultimately ditch the game. That's not me nominating myself to be the poster boy of ex-Marvel Rivals player, I'm just using myself as an example of what could happen to the rest of the player base. Playing Rivals at the minute is fatiguing, repetitive, and just generally a shit experience. Why do you think so many streamers went back to Overwatch? It's because the game fucking sucks right now. Anyways, that's about it. See ya.